Now, something I get asked about all the time is the softbox I use. Now, we're going to go into all of this. First of all, you don't need it, but let me talk about it. This softbox costs, including a light to fit it, around £25,000. It is the best softbox ever made. Nobody has made a softbox this good before. And you're probably thinking, why would you spend £25,000 on a softbox and light? Well, there's a few reasons for this. And first of all, it's because it is brilliant. But let me tell you why it's brilliant and what the difference is between this and an everyday softbox, and also why I have so many of them. Now, the Broncolor Hazy Light is not actually a softbox. A softbox, by definition, is soft. And here comes the first issue with a softbox. If I show you this floppy thing here, with the softbox, you get sag. Nobody wants a saggy box. And one of the benefits of having a rigid box or a hard box, such as the Hazy Light, is that you don't get sag. And you're probably thinking, well, who cares about sag? If you're a portrait photographer, not an issue at all. If you're a product photographer, still life photographer, and you shoot anything of brilliance, when I say brilliance, I don't mean a brilliant image, obviously that's preferable. I mean brilliance as in very shiny and reflective, or anything like a bottle or a glass where you get a catch light in it, and you want a perfect catch light, then the Hazy Light is for you. If you want it to be completely equal, I'm not talking about a gradation, I'm talking about a solid catch light, you need a Hazy Light. A softbox won't do it, a scrim and a bare bulb won't do it, you must use something like a Hazy Light. Photo have their own version of it, but I've never used it, so I can't comment on it. I'm sure it's as good and it's probably made by the same factory. They still make these lights today under a different name, but Broncolor no longer do. And it's partly, we'll get into why. So the first thing is it makes this beautiful catch light. Very, very useful. Makes life very easy. But one of its main features is its perfect homogeneous illumination. You know, if you shoot with a softbox, you get a hot spot and then it spills out. You don't get that with a Hazy Light. And it's because of the type of head it uses. Now, I'm not going to take mine apart because they are quite old and I don't want to wreck it. But they have a special head, which is why it's partly so expensive. And in front of that head is a special piece of glass. Then the light fills the sort of entire solid box and comes through a double sheet of diffusion. And it's not fabric diffusion either, it's a lovely plasticky thing which really just illuminates well. It also gives you perfect white balance every single time. And of course, with a Broncolor pack and head system, you get that very reliable white balance. But still, you're probably thinking, it's a bit of an expensive thing just for those. We can fix the catch light in post. The white balance we can correct. Like, is it really worth it? Now, I'm going to break down the costs of this item because it comes in a few different parts. Now, everyone knows Broncolor packs are about 10,000, the heads are about 2,000 each, but then the actual softbox itself comes in at £6,000. So it's very hard to get hold of a brand new one today, but it's £6,000 just for the softbox head. The stand, which is called a column stand, is £5,000. The stand is brilliant. It is like the Rolls Royce of light stands. It is so good to use, and one of the reasons I use this light so much is because of its ease of use. If you need to get it into a slightly different position, using a boom arm or a C-stand, trying to fiddle that around and maneuver it is really difficult. But this here, it rolls out, it rolls back in again. It's on casters, you can put the pack on it. The whole thing is built beautifully. It also comes with a £1,000 grid, and that grid is great as well. It clips onto the outside. I very rarely use the grid myself because I tend to use this when working with items of brilliance or when I need perfect illumination rather than a lack of spill, but I've got the grid as well. I've got a couple of these Hazy Lights, packs and heads. Very good bit of kit. And the reason I use them is because of their usability. Often I'm working alone in here if I'm doing personal work or test shoots. I don't always have a crew. I'm trying to finesse the adjustment of a light overhead is very difficult by yourself, but doing it with a Hazy Light, you just roll it with your fingers. It's such an easy thing to do. And the whole thing being on wheels makes it maneuvering such a big light very easy, and it's so stable. There's never that feel when you're by yourself moving a light around that you've not quite got the sandbags or the arms in the right place and it's going to topple down and smash a £2,000 head. This way, we know that it's going to be stable. We know it's going to be secure. You pop the brakes on, it's there for the day. Now, one of the other things I've read about this light is that it's parabolic, and it's not. I don't know. So if you're going to go do some Googling and it says it's a parabolic light source, it isn't. I don't know where that comes from. It does project a pretty even light source, but it's certainly not parabolic in any sense of the word. It does give beautiful, even illumination, as you can see in the photos here. It's very, very nice. The build quality is amazing, and part of the reason why I've been showing you photographs rather than inside mine is because the build quality is great, but these are very old bits of kit. These have been around since the 8x10 film days. They're old. They are hard to come by, and one of the main reasons that you can get them so cheap today is because when someone needs to get rid of them, they're a bit of a pain in the, what's the polite word? Behind to get rid of, because they're so big and cumbersome. You can't stick this in your living room. You need a studio space. You can often find a good quality one of these for around £700 in the UK, but often you have to collect it yourself, which becomes difficult because it doesn't fit into a standard small van. So they are available. They are cheap if you can get hold of one and put it in your studio. I think it's a great thing to do, and that is why I have so many of them. Every time I see a good copy come up for sale, I buy it, because I know I'm not going to pay this German company 10 grand for a brand new one when I can just pick up a reasonably affordable version of it and, you know, not worry about those huge overheads. The light is brilliant. Is it better than a softbox? Absolutely. But if you can only manage to fit a softbox or afford a softbox, you're not missing that much, because you can fix it in post. You can fix that catch light in post. And obviously when these were designed, and this is the reason Broncolor probably don't make it anymore, you couldn't. Fixing that in post on a sheet of 8x10 film was very expensive. It was much cheaper to buy £25,000 worth of lighting than it was to have every frame individually retouched. Now, me being me and not being very good at Photoshop, this sings to me. This means that I can now go in there and I can create those perfect catch lights without having to go in post or pay a retoucher to come and fix it for me, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, this is a very niche bit of modifier. It's certainly not something you need to go out and buy, but if you do want to go and buy one, there's a couple in the UK listed on eBay at the moment. I'm not buying any more until I get the bigger studio space, but at which point, obviously, there'll be none available, because I will be hoarding the lot for the rest of my life, because they are such brilliant bits of kit. I wish people would make stuff like this today, but they don't. And I think the whole fix it in post, it being so affordable and easy to do, it is going to be the death of a lot of these very premium modifiers. If there's a modifier you want me to look at for you, let me know in the comments below and I'll get hold of one and we'll make a video about it. And I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.